Grand Rising. How do you detach from limiting emotions that's holding you back from experiencing the life that you can be having if you improve the quality of your emotions? That's what I'm going to be talking about. Keep sticking with me here. If you're listening, please share this podcast to 5 of your friends. Let them know, man, this was really useful to me. I think you'd benefit from it too. Do that right now. Go ahead. Click the arrow. Send it via Instagram, your text messages. Just send this podcast to a friend while you're listening. So, I'm going to be talking about how to detach from limiting emotions. What are limiting emotional states? Have you ever heard somebody say something like negative emotions and positive emotions? I don't know. Great Rising Esther. I don't know. I'm not digging the negative positive. I'm not digging the two ends. But the idea of limiting or empowering, I like that. I like that. Limiting or empowering emotions. So what's the difference? Well, we don't want to deem an emotion to be negative because not emotions or energies in motions telling us very important details about what's going on within us. Emotions is like communications of what's happening within. So how can they be negative or positive? They're simply either limiting or empowering. So you may wonder, what are some limiting emotions? What are some empowering ones? If you read a book, there's a book about, I forgot the name is, but there are different emotional states that have different vibrations and frequencies, with courage being the tipping point between the two. There are different emotions that have different vibrational frequencies, with courage being the tipping point. Once you pass courage, when there's fear. Fear is right below courage. Courage is right there. And then now once you get to the next emotion, you start going up. You start to get into gratitude, into love. So you're like, what are some limiting emotions that might be holding me back? This morning, we're talking about resentment. We're talking about fear. We're talking about anger. Those are low vibrational emotions. They let you know what you need to do. They give you bursts of energy, bursts of adrenaline, bursts of cortisol so to prep you, but they're not there to keep you zen or at peace or in joy or in love. They're just communicating to you right now. It's the current state of what's happening within you. And the emotion is like you bowling up. It's like, yo, there's something happening here. Do something. But what makes it limiting? I said, okay, there's higher energy emotions, lower energy emotions. What makes the lower energy emotions limiting? Well, the lower energy emotions keep you staring at them rather than finding the solution or stepping into a better possibility. So what do I mean by that? Lower energy emotions. If you get angry because something needs to be changed and you stay in anger, you're not getting into courage so you can act. If you get in fear because you're worried about what's happening or you're not sure of the future, that's okay. But when you stay in fear, it becomes limiting because now you're not creating the present or creating being in the present, which creates the future. You're just, whatever happens, happens. So you get what I'm saying? It's limiting if it keeps you in the emotion and it doesn't prompt you to action. So how do I convert? How do I detach from limiting emotions? All right. That's what this whole podcast episode today is about. And if you haven't subscribed yet, check out the podcast on edtalksdaily.com. All right. Make sure you go. I'm going to cook a little intermission. If you're listening to the podcast and you haven't subscribed, go to edtalksdaily.com right now. Okay? Maybe do it on another phone. You can leave the Instagram, come back, and subscribe to it so you can hear all these downloads that I'm sharing with you. I don't claim to know everything, but I know that God uses me for many things. So with that being said, I know that the podcast is going to add a value to you once you check it out. Okay, so go to edtalksdaily.com, check out the podcast, and shoot me a text. I'm going to keep talking about limiting emotions, but I want y'all to shoot me a text. If you haven't joined the text tribe yet, I'm about to send a text out right now, in fact, to let people know that I'm live. If you haven't joined the text tribe yet, shoot me a text, whether you're listening right now or watching live. Okay, that's my number is 561-510-9605. Is going to get you on a text messaging list. All right, so a lot of people didn't stick around for the announcements, but it's okay. All right, that's it. Shoot me a text right now, 561-510-9605. All right, for those of you stuck around, let's grow. All right, so I was talking about detaching from limiting emotions. So we memorize emotional patterns, which means our body literally has a blueprint for resentment. It has a blueprint for anger. It has a blueprint for all emotional states, which means why you think that, oh, I'm just angry right now. Sometimes if you're angry over time, it gets stuck in your body. Literally, you experience the same chemical secretions, and anger is stored in your body physically, right? If you're listening now, you may be like, how so? Well, it's stored in the tissues. The issues are stored in the tissues, but it also blocks the energy. It blocks out the shot. It blocks out energy flow. So you're like, okay, the emotions are actually stuck in me. Right, because the energy and motion that's communicating to you hasn't been properly directed. So detaching from limiting emotions, first we have to label them as such. Right? So what if let's say there's a specific alcohol you like to drink. When you start saying, man, I am never drinking this again, that's poison. That's what happens. You put a label on it, and all of a sudden you're like, I am not drinking that brand again. Because that killed me last night. You get what I'm saying? So when we label something, we tend to live up to the label. Just as if we label ourselves, we tend to become the label that we labeled ourselves as. Once we label, I can't believe everybody left, but Deja. Once we label ourselves as being once we label things, once we label emotions as a limiting emotion, then we start to think, man, how can I empower myself with a better emotion? How can I get my energy aligned so that I can go where I want to go rather than stick in where I'm at? You know, I did that just now. I didn't do it to tell you I did it. I did it because I needed it. So sometimes you have to sit and realize what emotions you're feeling. Your mind is going to tell you. Your self-talk lets you know now. Your self-talk lets you know how you're feeling. But you can convert by talking to yourself. So detaching from limiting emotions, start first by labeling them as a limiting emotions. So first you got to label it. So you got to put a label on it. Oh, this is limiting. And then now give yourself options. You'd be like, oh, if I can actually if I can feel better emotions and enhance the quality of my life, what would I feel? What would I go towards? How would I curate that emotion? And then you seek to curate it. A lot of times just a breath helps you, right? Just a breath can help you detach. So first you have to label the emotion, and then we have to get in a state of detachment where we can observe it, so then we can create the other emotion. Now you're like, what? That's it? Pretty much. That done over time, It's going to rewire the brain. So this morning when we were talking about detaching and then observing and then like creating the experiences that we want, the more we do that, it's like the more we're writing, it's like we're creating a new path over this old road. Normally we used to constantly think this way, but every time that we say, hey, I no longer want, like I'm recognizing it, I'm switching the emotion, or every time we take that, we curate the space to detach and create, man, the work pays off. The work pays off. All right. So keep doing the work, right? Keep doing the work. It all doesn't happen right away. You don't just step into the positive emotions. Sometimes it takes a little while for them to sink in. Sometimes the emotional states that limit you, for instance, being anxious, not knowing how people are receiving what you're putting out, right? Not knowing what's happening. Like for instance, I got a little bit anxious just earlier, right? If I'm gonna be authentic, I'm not really that anxious. I'm kind of cold on the inside. But I was like, I started speaking, there was a lot of people in the live. Let me explain to you exactly how I was experiencing emotion. There was a lot of people in the live, and I just wanted to let them know how to join the text tribe. And then I saw a lot of people leave. Then I was like, I'm gonna have one person on the live again? And I was like, whatever. You know, I had a limiting emotion saying that, when am I gonna blow up with my content? When is it gonna reach more people? So what I had to do is I took a breath. I was like, I had to breathe in, breathe out. I had to let that go. I had to realize that whether it's one person, I need to give them everything. So what did I just do? I detached from the emotional state. I took an action, which was a breath, and I reconnected with my spirit, and now I'm right back. That was it. And I'm able to now keep the life going and use that as a lesson. You extract wisdom from limiting emotions when you detach the emotional charge. And the way to detach from an emotional charge of an emotion, of the electrical charge of emotion, is to breathe, is to separate you from it. Oh, okay, let me give you an example. I'm feeling a little anxious right now. Now, you know how people diminish your business or your little business? Hey, I like the little business you got going. Oh yeah, I like your little bow tie. Oh, little. I mean, it's a big ass. Like, see, what do you mean? It's okay. I like your little car. I'm like, I got that's the SUV. What are you talking about? So people tend to make things little. They belittle you. I want you to start not necessarily belittling your issue like they don't matter, but yeah, don't mind them, don't make them the matter. Yeah, I want you to not belittle as in they're not important, but belittle as in they're not the matter you're gonna focus on. You're gonna focus on bigger matters. So I put little in front of this is specific mental strategies. So before we meditate out ourselves of limiting emotions, we could use the same tools of thinking to break down the limiting emotions. So you know how you overthink and you experience the same emotional states because you're overthinking? What if you constructively worked your way to belittle so you could get out? So, I'm just feeling a little anxious right now. How can I rebalance myself? I'm just feeling a little angry right now. Don't say because. You can. If you got to the level where you can really see yourself, if you're really thinking a lot, overthinking, don't say because. If you say because, now you're going to bring a bunch of answers. Because, now you're going to focus on what's wrong. I'm a little angry. Okay, sometimes you kind of have to see what's up. There's two sides to everything. So that's why it's hard for me to say, there's no one way or the other. There's no right way or the wrong. It's just, the mind is tricky. So here's what I mean. I'm a little anxious right now. If you're conscious and you're aware and you can move from it, because I'm not sure of how people is receiving this. Okay, I'm a little anxious right now because I'm not sure of how people are receiving what I'm putting out. Not necessarily what I'm putting out right now, but just an example. You're like, okay, how can I give more value? I can keep talking, I can keep sharing, I can share stories. So ask yourself, say, oh, recognize it, step away from it. You can see why sometimes. Don't concern yourself with the why so much, but focus on yourself. How do I transform this limiting emotion to a empowering one? When an emotion keeps you in it for more than an hour, more than 6 hours, more than 24, if you sleep, you woke up and the emotion is still in your body. Guess what that means? That energy is being stagnated. Now it becomes pain. Now you're like, my back hurt, my shoulder hurt, my butt hurt, my hamstrings feel tight. I feel like I'm being pulled in 2 different directions. So you're like this. You're like, my shoulders are tight and your hamstrings pulling you down, and you're like walking. You got a big booty, but now your butt is flat. You're like, what happened to my butt? That's because now your butt got tight, because you got all that anger in it, and you just feel uptight, and you say this stuff. But you're like, okay, I'm a little angry right now because I feel BACD. All right, now I feel the anger, I feel the tension. How can I release the tension? Or how can I communicate what's going on in a way where it's not emotionally charged? So let's say you were angry at somebody for something they did against you, or that you thought they did against you. When you're emotionally charged, when you're operating based on the past, it's hard to come to a reconciliation, because you're going to start throwing sticks at them. You're going to try to hit them on the head because they did you wrong. Happened to me yesterday. Caught myself. But today I tried, after rising and priming, man, helped me a lot. By that 24 hours, helped me a lot. There's a high emotional charge to the people you've been dealing with all your life. Trust me. It's easier to practice this stuff with strangers. There's not that much charge. Like, I just met you. We don't have that much past baggage. There's not much emotion. There's not much energetic exchange between us, but this current circumstance. So it's kind of easier to deal with that anger. Like, whoosa, you don't matter. Not saying, I'm saying, but that's really how we be thinking, though. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, like, oh, I'm never gonna see you again. The person is matter. They're a human being, but not gonna see you. But for the person you're gonna see every day and you've seen every day, sometimes they say something and it sparks you in the head, and all of a sudden you get emotionally charged. So we have to keep recalibrating. Recalibration happens not just at the time the thing happens, but at the top of the hour. Every 4 hours you might have to recalibrate. Every 6 hours you might have to recalibrate. At the top of each day is best beneficial to recalibrate yourself. That's pretty much what we do in the morning, Rise and Prime. Join me Friday, link in bio. We recalibrate, we rebalance, and here's how you recalibrate. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna explain to you how to restore back to your restoration point, not just based on psychology and science, but how your computer works. To recalibrate your screen, sometimes what it needs is, it needs a point of restoration. Recalibration needs a point of restoration. It needs to know how it normally operates efficiently, so that way it can go back to that state. So, if you're experiencing a high emotional state of resentment or anger or fear, you can just imagine one time when you had a lot of peace. For instance, a lot of people watching now are in the holistic lifestyle tribe. Shout out to the tribe. And you're like, yo, today something went off, but you just remembered how you woke up this morning. I remember how I woke up. It was amazing. I remember how I woke up. So I'm like, yo, you know what? What if I can get back to that mind state? Just go back to the morning. So instead of traveling to the past to pick at the scabs that brings you pain, travel to the past to to leave the scabs that will cause you to heal. Man, I never said that before. But I like that one. I gotta write that one down, right? Instead of going back, yesterday I picked the scab. Look at it. Can y'all see it? All right. Y'all don't need to see my scabs, right? But it's already healed. Yeah, well, it was yesterday, 2 days ago. That's how come it healed. I just like, oh, there's a scab right there. It's not, I don't have to touch it. Have you ever had a scab? There's no reason. You're like, I can't do this without cracking up. It's just so funny. No, I'm not gonna pick at it. You're like, I'm gonna no. So you're trying to pick the scab for no reason. You want to feel that little pain. You're like, cause there's this little rush you get. I don't know if it's just me, but there's a little rush. You're like, ow, oh, that felt good. I feel alive now. So why? It's better to feel pain than feel no thing. So a lot of times we pick at scabs not because they do anything good for us. We're healing, but we're like, we send that you up. You might want to stay down, baby. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, right? You up? Stop picking the scabs. The X is in the X because it's the past. You up? No, I'm not up, boo-boo. I'm down. I'm trying to go up. I'm trying to grow up, baby. So don't pick the scabs because it's better to feel something than nothing. Well, guess what? If you heal, you can feel how you can be healed. Also, now you got beautiful skin. Get what I'm saying? So instead of going to the past to pick at the scabs, why don't we go back to see how we healed the scab? And be like, oh, what cream did I put on that last time? Oh, I put that Band-Aid? Oh, they use that type of alcohol. I get it. Oh, okay, let me do the same thing. So, same thing with the emotions. Instead of going back in your mind to pick up what they did and when they did it, how they did it, remember how they did something good. Remember all the great things that they did in your life. This is stuff I do on the daily. Okay. This is how this person is being because this is the current level of consciousness. I have to give them space to grow as I grow myself. I understand I would like them to deal like this with me, but they're just not there yet. There is anger and resentment, but I need to see the beauty in all these things this person did for me, rather than this one thing that reminded me of all the ways that they acted against me that didn't necessarily serve any of us. We have to realize that we're both suffering, and we're just throwing our suffering at each other, trying to stop suffering. It doesn't work. You're like, help me suffer less. But here's a dagger to the heart. You're like, why you just did that? And you're like, I'm suffering. Can you help me? And you're like, oh, let me take an arrow and throw it at you. So we're like, oh, arrow shots. Boom, boom. You shooting shots at him. And you both are like, I'm dying. I need love. Shots. You're like, I'm dying. I need love. Shots. Remember, and then we start using old rocks. Remember when you did? Come on. I thought we were trying to build a house here. Why are you throwing pebbles? What was the verse? If you throw a rock, something will be thrown back at you. You're like, oh, let me go to the past and throw some rocks. Maybe that'll make you feel, it looks like you don't have any emotions. I want to make you feel something. We do that. sometimes we just try to communicate. But here's the other thing too, I found out. Sometimes we meet somebody at their level of anger so we can try to bring them down. That happened to me very recently. So somebody got really angry for something very basic, like the floor and the mud on the floor that I was about to just clean. I just needed about 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds, 30 more seconds. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean the floor. 30 more seconds, 30 more seconds. And then you're like, you hear the anger, you get, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm going to clean the floor. And you start talking really soft. And you're like, I understand. You're trying to help this person suffer less. You're like, oh, I understand. But they're going at you. And you're like, whoa. I see, that was a little bit too much. That probably scared you a little bit. You're like, whoa, calm down. I'm just trying. You're like, it's not that deep. So you're like, okay, I'm going to clap you up now. Because obviously you're not listening. So now you get riled up. They just took over your body. They got mind control all of a sudden. Their anger became your anger. You're like, man, I wasn't trying to be, I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to listen to help. But guess what just happened? That emotional charge. But then when you start thinking of the past, like this person always did this, always do this, they always act like this. Why do they always be like this? Why can't they ever change? So you react the same way again based on the emotional charge. And then afterwards, when you step back, you're like, I knew this person was always like this, and I fell for their trap. Don't fall for the trap. Limiting emotions will trap you. That's why it's called limiting emotions. It limits you. It limits how you can feel and experience life, and somebody else can take power over you because they know how to push your buttons. Sometimes they don't even try to push the buttons. They're just automatic button pushers. They have an internal battle that they're dealing with, and what they're doing is they're at war with themselves. It's not their fault. Everybody's healing. But it's like when you want to be compassionate towards them, I'm sorry, you're not Jesus. It takes work. If you were, you'd be like, forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they're doing. I'm trying to be more like that every day. Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they're doing. Forgive them, forgive them. Forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. But it takes a while. It takes cultivation. It takes determination. It takes working on yourself. It takes reading. It takes community. It takes experience. It takes silence. It takes prayer, praising. It takes all of these different things. Whatever it is that you choose to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to kind of put things in perspective. I paint pictures so you can create your own portrait. I don't give you here's the brush stroke. You go. No. I'm not going to tell you what to paint. But I'm just letting you know, oh, this is what the paint it consists of. This is the different canvases you can buy. This is what's available for you. Now you take some of that, you build a new perspective, and then you create your art. So take it like that. Take it or leave it. So how do I put this all together in a summary format so that those of you just tapping in could bring this into action? So let's go. Let's get it. Let me take a quick sip of tea right quick. Y'all stay here. Just because there's a pause is good. Pause is good. We don't always need consistent word. Y'all stick here. Just because I'm pausing, don't leave. I just need to drink my tea. The Holistic Motivator mug. Check it out. Yeah, sacred pause. Sometimes I really do need those pauses. I'm kind of tired of I'm going to stop looking at this number on top. Let me block it. How about that? That's going to help me. Blocked. Oh, wait. That didn't work. I was blocked the whole camera. But y'all go support me though. Get one of these mugs. They're only $9. Look at that. It's cute. All right. Here's the review. So follow me. Let's take some deep breaths. And then we're going to do the last 5 minutes. We tap out. All right, y'all ready? Put your hand on your belly button. And I want you to push in. Pretend like your balloon, your lungs is a balloon, which it is. You're going to push in and exhale. Slow, close your eyes like halfway, but you can still see. And then now, to inhale, you're going to breathe in, but you're going to push your hand out by forming the balloon of your lungs. You got it? So you should expand. Your shoulders shouldn't rise. If your shoulders rise, let's try it again. Push in the belly button. Exhale. Now to breathe in, inhale, fill up the diaphragm, and push your hand out with your belly button. Exhale, push in. Inhale, push out. You're pushing your hand out with your belly by inflating the balloon of your lungs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keep that going. We're going to finish the last portion of the live a little bit differently, like we did with the Rise and Prime session. We're going to meditate on how we want to create our lives rather than just talk. Okay? Keep tapping in with me. Yeah, and peep, I got a whole studio in the backyard. Keep breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. I just want to zen you out with some of these holistic sounds. I like saying zen you out. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Biggest thing I did in 2020 was learn how to be myself. And found out people like me, then they like the persona. Okay. All right. So you're going to close your eyes. You're going to exhale. And then inhale. So today, keep breathing in and out. I spoke about how to detach from the emotional states. And the process goes as this. First, you want to know what's happening. You want to separate you from what's happening within you and recognize that you can change it. So, belittle the emotion and empower yourself if the emotion is limiting. And what I mean by that is, keep breathing in and out. If you're feeling a little stressed, just say, I'm feeling a little stressed right now. But I'm releasing this stress with my breath. And I'm stepping into peace. And I'm showing my body more, my mind more love. I'm showing myself more love. And tending to my body. So identify the emotion, but don't identify with the emotion. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Sense what you feel, but don't let it take over your senses. Almost desensitize from the limiting emotion and create an empowering one by not picking at the scabs, but remembering how you healed in the past. Pick one moment of joy, bliss, happiness, contentment, synchrony, and go back there. Travel there in your mind. How was that? One moment of abundance, where you had the money that you wanted, and you didn't have to worry about looking at your bank before buying something. If you're feeling the spirit of light, that's also limiting. I feel that sometimes, and I breathe it out and recognizing I am abundance. So when you breathe in, feel. When you breathe out, release. Feel the emotion, release the emotion. Sense what you feel and take control of your senses. Breathe in, breathe out. Now scan your body to see where you feel the pain. Is it your neck? Is it your shoulders? Is it your back? Is it your hips? Hamstrings, quads, calves, toes, knees, throat? Feel it. And then ask yourself, how can I release the tension from my body? How can I release the tension from my body? Feel how your insides feel. Do you feel full? Do you feel foggy? Are you drained? Or you feel like you're empty and there's an ocean, a river flowing inside you? How do you feel? If you feel congested, ask yourself, how can I clean my body? And if you're here, you've already done the work. You've already seen many ways to clean your body. Your mind is going to come with the answer. Now, feel how the day would go if you lived in empowering emotions and not limiting ones. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now you're going to raise your arm up. Breathe in. Raise your arm down. Breathe out. This is called mountain, valley, and mountain. First, the wrist is like a mountain. It leads. The elbow is like a valley. It recedes. Breathe in. Lift your arm. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now put your hand on your chest, on your thymus, or just rotate. Imagine if you had healing energy in your palm, which, believe it or not, you do. I want you to imagine that healing energy from your palm is going to your thymus. Send love to your heart. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Slowly get back to the physical world. You're now coming from the inner world to the physical. Make the transition. Opening your eyes. And just smile. Smile. Smiling is really good. It makes you feel good. It brings up your energy. Just smile. Even if you're angry or anxious or tired or worried or you're at the bus, just smile. Now just hug yourself. Breathing in, breathing out. All right. So that concluded the episode and the meditation. Got me really feeling really good. So I want to thank you for being here, showing up for you. I do this for you, not even for me. I'm just serving my purpose. I don't take credit for what I do. God is amazing, and I'm just a vessel. So give all thanks to God, not to me, but to God. And one way you can do that is be a good person. So how you be a good person? Listen to somebody, talk to somebody, be a good human being. Just walk around with good vibes, and you're gonna bless the world. So with that being said, we'd love to see y'all Friday, because this is what we do every morning. Friday, you could cut through to the Rise and Prime session. Link in my bio. Just click the link in my bio. You're gonna find Rise and Prime session, and then you can just join, and you're gonna see how amazing it is. I'm not even gonna tell y'all about the tribe or anything like that. Just join the Rise and Prime session on Friday. We start with mental health check-in, mindful movement, personal development, and then we check out by affirming that we are successful wellness entrepreneurs sharing our light with the world. And I'll see you on Friday. Click the link in my bio, or if you're listening to the podcast at a later time, click the link in the description, and you're gonna be able to join the tribe or go to holisticlifestyletribe.com. All right. So with that being said, remember, you have the unlimited power in you to achieve whatever it is that you want, to bypass your limiting states of emotional experience and expand it to an empowering one. From this to this. You can go from crunched up to pumped up. But first you have to believe that it's possible that you can translate that energy from where you're at to where you want to be. Believe it. Until you believe it, the world will forever miss that positive, radiant energy you have within you, all the talents, all the gifts, and all the great things you have to offer. So remember, let your light shine. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. That's my message, and I'm sticking to it. Peace. Y'all want to make sure you subscribe. Go to edtalksdaily.com and also text 561-510-9605 so you can be part of the text messaging tribe. Peace.